The Giver by Lois Lowry, Chapter 12. You sleep soundly, Jonas, his mother asked at the morning meal. No dreams? Jonas simply smiled and nodded, not ready to lie, not willing to tell truth. I sleep very soundly, he said. I wish the one would, his father said, leaning down from his chair to touch Gabriel's waving fist. The basket was on the floor beside him. In the corner beside Gabriel's, the stuffed hippo sat staring, not his blank eyes. So do I, Mary said, rolling her eyes, hair so fretful and night. Jonas has not heard the new chill Darwin tonight because he had slept soundly, but it was not true that he had no dreams. Again and again, as he slept, he had slid down that snow-covered hill. Always in dream, it seemed as if there were a destination in something he could not grasp what. That lay beyond the place where the thickness of snow brought his sled to a stop. He was left upon awakening. He the feeling that the wonder, even something nor read the something that waited in distance, the feeling what is good, that is was welcoming, that is significant. But he didn't know how to get there. He tried to shake the leftover dream, gathering his stalwart and prepared for the day. It should seem a little different day. The classes were the same: language and communication, commerce and industry, science and technology, civil procedures and government, but during breaks for recreation periods and the midday meals, the other new 12 were about with a description of their first day of training, all of them taken and uninterrupted each other, hastily making the required apology for interrupting, then forgetting again in the excitement of describing the new experience. Jonas listened. He was very aware of his own emotion, not to discuss his training, but it would have been impossible anyway. There was no way to describe to his friends what he experienced there in the annex room. How could you describe a sleep without describing a hill and none? And how could you describe an hill and snow to someone never felt hate or wind of their fatherly magical cold? Even training for years as they had been in precision of language. What words could you use which would give another the experience of sunshine? So it was easy for Jonas to be still and to listen. After 2 hours, he rode again beside Fiona to the house of the owl. I looked for you yesterday, she told him. So we could ride to Penn together. Your bike was still here and I wanted for a little wine, but I was getting late, so I went on home. I apologize for making your wait, Jonas said. I accept your apology, she replied automatically. I stayed a little longer than I expected, Jonas explained. She pleaded for what is silently, and he knew they expected him to what she expected him to describe his first day of training, but to as well having fallen into the category of readiness. You've been doing so many volunteer hours with it all, Jonas said, changing the subject. There won't be much you don't already know? Oh, there's lots to learn, Fiona replied. There's administrative work and describe the rollers and postmen for the Sameness. Did you know that they use this discipline? One and all the same for the small children. And their occupational therapy and recreational activities and medication and the reached the building and the wrecked the bikes. I think I will like it better. I should. Fiona confused. She waited for a second as if, again, she expected him to go on. Then she looked at her watch, waved and hurried toward an entrance. Jonas stood for a moment beside his bike, startled. It has happened again, the time that the hue of new saying behind. This time it's been Fiona who had undergone that felting script change, and looked up toward her going through the door. It happened. She changed. Actually, Jonas thought trying to recreate it in his mind. I wasn't Fiona in her entire height. It seemed to be just her hair, and just for that vacant instant, he ran through in his mind. It was clearly beginning to happen more often. First the apple a few weeks before, the next time had been the fastest in audience, and the auditorium just 2 days ago, now today's Furnace hair. Throwing Jonas walked toward in the annex. I will ask the giver, he decided. The old man looked up, smiling when Jonas entered the room. He was already seated beside his bed, and he seemed more energetic today, slightly renewed, and glad to see Jonas. "Welcome," he said. "We must get started. You're 1 minute late." "I apologize," Jonas began, and stopped, frustrated, remembering there were to be no apologies. He removed his tunic and went to bed. "I am 1 minute late because something happened," he explained. "And I'd like to ask your advice of your note to mine." "You may ask me anything." Jonas tried to sort it out in his mind so he could explain it clearly. "I think it's what you call saying beyond," he said. The giver nodded. "Describe it," he said. Jonas told him about the experience with the apple, then the moment on the stage when he had looked at and seen same phenomenon in the faces of the crowd. Then today just outside it happened with a friend Fiona. She herself didn't change. Exactly. But something about her changed for a second. Her chair looked at different. But I'm not in shape, not in length. I can't kill. Jonas paused, frustrated, with his unable to grasp and describe exactly what he had occurred. Finally, he simply said, "It changed, and don't know how or what." "That's why I was 1 minute late," he concluded, and looked questioningly at the giver. To his surprise, the old man asked him a question which seemed unrelated to saying beyond. "When I gave you memory yesterday, the first ones that read it on the slate, did you around?" Jonas nodded. "Yes," he said, "but the stuff, I mean the snow in their armand is to see anything." "Did you look at the slate?" Jonas thought back. "No, I only fell in under me. I dreamed of the last night too, but I don't remember saying the slate in my dream. Hater just falling out." The giver seemed to be thinking. "When I was observing you before this election, I perceived that you probably had the capacity, and what you describe confirms it happening somewhat indifferent to me." The giver told him, "When I was your age, about to become the receiver, I began to experience it thought it looked different from. With me I was, well, I won't describe that now you wouldn't understand it yet, but I think I can guess how it's happening with you. Let me just make a little test to confirm my guess. Lie it down." Jonas lay on the bed again with his hands his sides. He felt comfortable here now. He closed his eyes and waited for the familiar feel of the giver's hands on his back. "But I didn't come instead," the giver instructed him. "Call back the memory of the righteous lead, just the beginning of it, where you're at the top of the feeling before it's like to start, and this time look down and slide." Jonas was puzzled. He opened his eyes. "Excuse me?" he asked politely. "But didn't you have to give me memory?" "It's your memory now. It's not mine to experience any longer. I gave the way." "But how can I call it back?" "You can remember last year of the year that you were a 7 or 5, can you?" "Of course. It's much the same. Every young in the community has one generation memories like yours, but now you'll be able to debug for it. Three, just concentrate." Jonas closed his eyes. Again he took a deep breath and saw the sled and the hill and the snow in this consciousness. There they were. With no effort, he was again sitting in the rolling world of snowflakes atop the hill. Jonas grunted with delight and blew his own stream of breath into view. When, as he had been stranded, he looked down, he saw his own heart forward again in snow holding the rope. He saw his legs and moved them aside for the place of the sled beneath. Dumbfounded, he stared at it. This time it was no fleeting impression. This time his leg had, and continued to have, as he blinked and stared at it again, that same mysterious quality that the apple had to briefly and Fiona's hair. The sled did not change, and simply was wherever the thing was. Jonas opened his eyes and well stayed on the bed. The giver was watching the curiously. "Yes," Jonas said slowly. "I saw in the sled. Let me try one more look over there too, because do you see the giver top of books behind the table on the shelf?" Jonas saw them with his eyes. He stared at them and they exchanged, but the change fleeting and slip away the next them. "It happened," Jonas said. "It happened to the books when I went again. "I am right then," the giver said. "You're beginning to see color red." "The what?" The giver Sally. How to explain this? Once back in the time of the memories, everything have shape and size. The way things is still done, but they also had quality called color. There were a lot of colors, and one of them was called red. That's the one you are starting to see. You're right, Fiona has red hair. Key distinctives, actually. I've noticed it before. When you mentioned Fiona hair, it was the clue that told me you were probably beginning to see the color red. And the face of the people? The arms outside and the ceremony? The giver shocks it. No flesh isn't red, but I was red tones in it. There was time actually. You'll see this in the memories later when flesh was many different colors. What was before we went Sameness? Today flesh is all the same. And what you saw was the red tones. Probably when you say the face take colors, it wasn't as deep or vibrant as people or your friend's hair. The giver chuckled. Suddenly, we've never completely mastered science. I suppose the hygienic science are still hard at the work trying to work the kings out. Highlight feeling must drive the crazy. Jonas listens, trying hard to comprehend. And the sled, he said, it had the same thing, the color red, but I didn't change, Gerard, I just was. Because it's a memory from the time when the color was. It was so old. I wish language were more precise, the red was so beautiful. The giver nodded. It is? Do you see it all the time? I see all often all the colors. Why all? Of course. When you reset the memories, you have the capacity to see beyond. You'll gain wisdom then along with colors and lots more. Jonas wasn't interested just in the wisdom, it was the color that fascinated him. Why can everyone see him with the colors spread? The giver shrugged. Our people made that choice, the choice to go to the same before my time before the previous time. Back and back and back, we relinquished color when the relinquished sunshine and did away different. He thought for a moment he gained control of many things, but he had to let go of others. We shouldn't have, Jonas said fiercely. The giver looked stared at the certain of Jonas' recreation. Then he smiled wryly. Your V come very quickly. To that conclusion he said, it took me many years. Maybe yours with some will come much quickly than mine. He glanced and watched the clock. Lay back down now. We have so much to do. Giver. Jonas asked as they ran himself again to the bed. How did it happen to the one we're becoming the receiver? You say that ceiling beyond happened you but not the same way. His hands came to his back. Another day, the giver said gently, in the year another day, no more word, and I will thought of a way to help you with the concept of color. Close your eyes and be still now. I am to vitor a memory of a rainbow.